morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever the fuck you are in the world. Welcome back to another kind of episode of Lost the Plot.
Lost the plot under new. I was going to say under new management. It's under the same old management, but
Same management, different direction.
different direction.
What was it you said before we started recording? Lost the plot. Found.
Yeah. Or how about like Lost the Plot presents the shite-talk hour.
The shite-talk hour. You see, okay, so listeners, just to catch you up, you've probably
Wait,
figured out what's going on
sorry,
already.
sorry. Who are you and who am I?
I'm your boy Ado. If you're listening to this episode, you should know who I am already, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
World famous host of the greatest Lost podcast ever to have been made. My name's Ado, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host Dave.
So good that they would only let us do a season and a half of it before they're like, lads, you're showing up the rest of the Lost cast community. You gotta take your talents elsewhere, and that's what we've done, folks.
And that is what we are doing. So, just to give the listeners a little bit of context, what are you even listening to? What are we doing here? Yes, this is still Lost the Plot. Yeah, good questions, and hopefully they'll be somewhat answered. So, Dave, feel free to jump in and correct me at any stage here. But
yeah,
as per the last episode, previously on Lost the Plot, my life circumstances have changed by virtue of the fact that I'm moving to a different country and I'm about to have a kid in a few months. So, maintaining the Lost the Plot podcast, as Dave and I have done for the last year and a half or whatever, it's just not feasible for me anymore, right? Can't do it, can't keep up with it. So all we've decided to do is just, whenever we get a free evening, record an episode of us just chatting about...
Just catching up.
Exactly. Whatever we want. Movies, TV shows, video games, the warts that I found in my crotch last week, just whatever happens to come up.
And I should say that you know, we're not so arrogant as to decide people needed this. This was actually decided by a democratic process. And hold on a second. I've just been handed something by my editor. Oh my God, this is breaking news here. It seems the democratic process of deciding what to do at Lost the Plot has been compromised. Let me give you the details here.
Oh, please.
It appears that Dave of Lost the Plot signed up for a free SurveyMonkey account, not knowing that when you put up a poll on SurveyMonkey and don't pay for it, you only get access to the first 10 votes.
Now that is sneaky marketing, and they fucking know it.
They didn't say it anywhere.
No.
And I emailed them. I was like, hey, because there was more than 10 votes, which thank you to everyone who voted, by the way. That's amazing. But 40% of those 10 votes were go with the weekly shite talk. And so we kind of had to take that or else put up a new poll, which we didn't want to do. I emailed SurveyMonkey and I was like, because a monthly account was like $99, right? For a fucking month.
Right.
And I'm like, fuck that noise. I emailed their customer service and I said, this was not indicated anywhere in the sign up. Look, I understand that I done goofed. I'm willing to make a one-time payment of like, I think I said $15 for access to the full results of this poll. The cunts ghosted me. They never responded.
Oh, that is harsh.
Now, I've worked in customer service and I realize you get big backlogs sometimes, but this was like 2 weeks ago now. Maybe longer.
No, that's disgraceful. Disgraceful. Talk to Joe about that one.
So 40%, which was the majority of respondents in the first 10 votes, voted for our monthly shite talk, and we're just going based on that.
Now, hang on. Let's be honest. Do we really want to find out what the full results of that poll were? Just in case it's a result we don't like.
I should say that the second highest number of votes on this out of this 10, which was I think 2, was hang up your boots and don't do the podcast anymore.
Hang up. Do you know what? I nearly would have preferred that. The only way of continuing this podcast that I would not have been in favor for was actual lost content.
Yeah.
So
we would have had to hold ourselves to the high standard we did before, and it just like there would have been like 2 years between seasons. I guarantee you.
Don't get me wrong. I am so proud of the work that we've done on the previous season and a half of Lost that we've done. Like how many episodes we do? Fucking crazy amount of episodes.
If you include, I have an exact number for you. If you include bonus episodes and everything, I think our total up there is 35.
Okay, so definitely not a lot compared to a lot of podcasts out there. But when you take into consideration that each and every one of our episodes is minimum hour and a half. I think there's one episode out of all of them that comes to like an hour and 20 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, it was a Sawyer episode. I remember from season 1.
Yeah,
I think
really
we just neither of us had any beans that day. We couldn't believe it when we finished. We're like, Jesus, that was fast.
Yeah, it was great for the editing. But
yeah.
And the other thing was, I mean, I don't know how quick it is for you editing, but I'm usually pretty consistent in the sense that 5 minutes of audio took me about half an hour.
Yeah, easily.
Genuinely,
it got worse as I went along as well, because I started to get more strict with what I would cut out. I got less relaxed with the editing as I went along. I started to get really conscious of like my in breaths and everything, so I would fucking cut those out. And I'm like, I was going insane. Like,
yeah.
But we're you know, this is, you're probably, from listening this far, you probably already know that this is a lot less edited, because I'm really gonna try to not edit this one as heavily.
Maybe just there's like a few moments I think where we talk over each other. We might get rid of that, because that's.
Or if I go right into the mic like that, we should probably cut that out.
Oh yeah, I mean, at the prospect of restarting this podcast, listener, to go with the old, well, what do you call it, running joke? I am sick. I am completely run down. So there's a very good chance you hear me coughing, or you conspicuously don't hear me coughing in the background, I should say.
You said you came down with this illness like literally a day or two after we decided to record last week. And I said, this is your body reacting to the idea of doing the podcast again.
Man, let me tell you, right? So I don't know how things are over there where you are in Canada, but here, you know, there's absolutely no COVID restrictions. No one's talking about COVID anymore. Think of the past.
No, nothing like that. Nothing.
The end of last week, I want to say it was like Sunday or something, I get a text from the HSE, the Health Service Executive, saying that you have been in close proximity to somebody with the Omicron variant of COVID. Yeah, they're naming COVID after fucking Transformers now. The Omicron. Omicrons roll out.
That joke would have been funny like a year and a half ago.
Shut the fuck up. I'm funny all the time, right? You're mad. But anyway, so apparently I was close to someone with the Omicron variant, and then I start coming down with this, right? The runny nose, the sore throat, the difficulty breathing. And I'm like, oh, this boy got that virus. And I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Like, I got the COVID?
Again?
But whatever. Yeah, again. This would be like my second, possibly third time. I don't know.
Which means we would have had 2, possibly 3 total cases of COVID on this podcast, because your boy remains COVID free even through 23. I've had like, I booked a 4th vaccine, a booster next week, because I've had a few near like just cases where I had a tickly throat, and I'm like, oh no, this is finally it. And I test and there's nothing, and I test again and there's nothing, and I'm like, I beat it again. But I booked another booster for next week because I'm getting too big for my boots now, even though I suspect that I might be immune. Anyway, I cut you off, please.
Well, I sure as shit know that I'm not immune to fucking COVID. I've had it before and it was horrendous. And this cold that I have now, or flu, I should say, felt like the first time I had COVID. Like, I got the fever and everything with it, the difficulty breathing, the fucking, like, you name the symptom, I fucking had it. But oh man, the fever is some of the worst shit, because you feel so hot. Like, I felt like I was in an oven, but I was shivering. Right?
Did you have any wild fever dreams?
Nah, no fever dreams. No. Thankfully, not this time. I don't get that weird kind of shit, right?
Oh yeah, I do. I'm very
my girlfriend, within touching this, I could poke her head right now.
The mother of your child.
The future mother of my child, or okay, semantics, whatever. But she now has what I have. Thankfully, I'm recovering. Both of us did COVID tests yesterday. They are negative. Negativo.
Negatory.
Yeah. And it's almost like I planned it, because I think like 3 months ago, I booked the 4 days before St. Patrick's Day off, which, if you're keeping score, is yesterday, today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, right?
Aye.
Listeners
Happy
at home.
Week.
Listeners at home, try and figure out what day of the week we're recording this on now from that information.
Yeah, there's a little puzzle. Shocked in the Gaeilge Honna ditch, by the way. Irish Language Week.
Yeah. Shin, eh? Man, I can't even respond in Irish because my French is now better than my Irish.
Shameful.
I mean, what can I say? I mean, sure, I'm Irish and I'm from Ireland, but my partner is French and my future child is half French, so I don't feel guilty learning French. And we're going to be
Yeah.
living in France, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's time to dilute if ever there was.
But yeah, fucking Irish redundancy at its finest. Shocked in the Gaeilge. How long is Shocked in the Gaeilge, Dave?
It's a week.
Nope.
Is it 5 days?
Nope.
I don't know. You tell me. This is news to me.
It's 2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks.
Shocked in the Gaeilge is from the 1st to the 14th. Sorry, it's not from the 1st to the 14th. It's like the 1st to the 16th of March.
No way. I've just been wishing everyone shocked in the Gaeilge Hannah this week because I thought it was the week of St. Patrick's Day. So it's the 2 weeks right before Paddy's Day.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I only found this out a couple of days ago.
So shocked in for our international and most Irish listeners who also don't speak the language. Shocked is the singular of week. So it's literally like Irish language week, but it's a fortnight.
What's the plural for Shockton then?
Shocktony?
That sounds right.
Yeah, it sounds right, but it also doesn't. But I don't know. I'm not really up on my Irish. Shocktony.
Shockton. Maybe you're not up on your Irish. I had it in my head that if ever I was in an emergency and needed a fucking fluent Irish speaker, Dave is my homeboy that I can go to. He knows.
Use it or lose it, my friend. I don't get to speak it anyway. According to Google Translate, it's Shocktina.
Shocktina, fuck it is.
Shocktina na Gaeilge.
Yeah.
Irish weeks.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
There you go. Have you got any big plans for Paddy's Day? Why'd you book the time off?
I'm working. That's it. I'm just working Paddy's Day, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So why did you book the time off before Paddy's Day? Is it because that's when it's craziest in the hotel?
I wanted this week off, but I wasn't cruel enough to let my team work without me there because I am the longest serving on our team. I am the most experienced, most skilled, all that shit. And now, as it happens, it's going to be my final weekend in my workplace before I'm gone. I'm out of there. And my 16-year career in hotels comes to an end next Monday.
Damn.
Very exciting. Oh, man, I'm fucking bricking it. I am bricking it.
Have you any thoughts on where you want to take your professional life next? Or is it up in the air?
Where I want to take it? Man, I've no idea. Like, my entire professional career has been hotels. So, and sure, I might get back into that over there. Yeah,
but you got to learn French first, I'm guessing.
Gotta learn the language. And, like, mon français est pas mal at the moment, but it's not good enough to be in a guest-facing position in a hotel. So at the moment, I'm going to have to look for other avenues.
What date are you moving over again, if you're okay sharing that in the pod?
I fly out of Ireland on the 28th of this month in exactly 14 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
2 weeks from today.
The ideal goal would be if I could find work online and work from home somehow, but I don't have...
Yeah.
All my skills have been in working in a fucking hotel, so I don't know what I could do.
Yeah, I mean, I work from home. I just mostly do spreadsheets during the day. I'm sure you've dealt with spreadsheets, doing rosters and stuff like that. You can fluff that on a CV. Yeah,
sure. I'll find something that I've been applying to, different kinds of places. Are these like campsites for kids that are learning English? And the campsites are run in English, right? So the number one thing they need is fluent English speakers.
Mm-hmm.
And then the amount of French I'd need to learn is just enough to be able to get a job, understand the questions on the employment form and shit like that, right? But I fucking applied for one of these jobs and my goodness, they sent me an aptitude test of 20 questions, the most random questions you've ever seen.
In French?
Oh, 100% in French, right? All in French. And the questions would be stuff like, you're organizing an office. This is an inventory of everything you need. You need to reorder stock that will be under 3 units in 3 months' time. And you go through a unit every month and a half. Which of these will you need to restock in 6 months? And I'm like, I literally just want to teach English to small kids. Like this is, I want to teach them all the swear words.
I had a job once where I had to pass a logic test to get it, but it was just like pattern recognition. Like it would show, like a square of circles, and some of them be filled in, and a series of it, and then where what's the next one, But apparently, there's like a big movement against those kind of requirements for jobs because they tend to cater to certain, they're. I don't know if it's just neurotypical people that they cater to. It's a certain type of intelligence, right? It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be bad at the job if you can't, if you can't pass one of those tests. I don't know.
Yeah, I can kind of get that because different people's brains are wired differently. So that test will discriminate against people who could be very good at the job, but they don't have the opportunity anymore because of this seemingly pointless screening process. I totally get that.
How are you feeling now about how many months out from baby are we? It's July. And Mary's due?
Yeah, July 10th, which is what month is July? It's month number 7, isn't it?
Yeah, the 7th month.
Yeah. And this is the 14th to the 3rd, so we're looking at 4 months away.
4 months. All right. How are you feeling?
Breaking it.
Yeah, still.
Man, cast your mind back 10 years. Just over 10 years ago, actually. During my glory days, when I peaked in life, our college years, that I love to revisit over and over and over again, right? Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I peaked in college and haven't looked back. Do you remember that fucking idiot getting drunk, smoking rollies, throwing up in a bush in some fucking housing estate in Maynooth?
Leaping through fire alarms.
Oh, the fire alarms fucking taking... Oh, no. No, that was Bren that took a piss in your wardrobe, actually.
Yeah.
But the idiot that I was, right? Last day of our first year at college, the very last day, cleaning out the whole apartment, and chicken Kievs found in the freezer turned to grey mush. I ate them.
Yeah. I think you told the story on the pod before.
And I'd eat them again. That man that you are thinking of is having a baby.
He's going to be responsible for a life.
I'm going to be responsible for another human being.
I think you'll take to it like a duck to water. I think you're going to be great at it.
Well, I'm going to be tempered by Little Miss fucking opinions here as well, right? Because she seems to have her own idea of how this child is going to be raised.
Oh, is there conflict there that you're willing to talk about?
Believe it or not, we have had a little bit of conflict. I don't remember specifically what it was, but she shared one video with me. Because obviously the online algorithms have learned who we are at this stage. I open up my Instagram, every single fucking picture I see is baby. It's either like prepping for pregnancy. It's like, oh, here's a fun breastfeeding hack that was learned, or
what
diaper changing.
You're expecting.
Right, this kind of shit. And also just random videos of babies being funny. Like that's my entire Instagram searching feed now, right? But she shared one video with me that was like, I don't remember what it was, like what to do when a baby's crying or something. I don't remember. But I remember I disagreed with it. And she was like, no, if you disagree with it, like that's a red flag. And we got into this huge argument about it. And then we're on the same page now with regards to that topic. Are there going to be others in the future? I fucking hope not. But I mean, it's a learning process. This is a first kid for both of us. So yeah, learning process on both sides. I'm not worried. Like I'm not worried on that front. I mean, as long as everything we do is going to be done through love for this kid. And if you're doing it out of love, you can't go too far wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know. I feel like love can be misguided sometimes. We're seeing that a lot in the sort of crazy parents in the United States right now at the school board meetings. I don't doubt that those people love their kids, but I just think that they're delusional or something,
Well, man, a topic that I was hoping we were going to get onto. Have you watched The Last of Us TV show?
I have.
One of the big themes of that TV show is how dangerous unconditional love can be.
That's a good point.
beautiful segue into a TV show. Am I right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about me for way too fucking long. Let's talk about something interesting.
What did you think of The Last of Us overall?
I'm still processing it.
Yeah.
I'm having a knee-jerk reaction to everybody online who's saying like, "Oh, golden age of television. This is a masterclass of storytelling. 12 out of 10." And I'm like, I don't feel like I agree with any of that.
Me too.
I'll tell you two things. Unforgivable. There was one episode I thought was unforgivable, right? For Last of Us, and everyone remembers it. Episode 3, aka the Bill and Frank episode, right?
You didn't like it?
I loved it. I thought that episode, standalone on its own, was a masterclass in storytelling. It was beautiful, tragic, Shakespearean. Okay, spoiler alert. But for a game that takes how many hours to complete, right? Where you are playing the part of Joel and you're with Ellie and you go through trials and tribulations, and this has to be brought down to a 9-episode season. You're not going to get across that same level of connectivity between the two characters, the same level of chemistry by the end in just 9 episodes. And they go and dedicate an entire episode to 2 characters. Again, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the show, what are you still doing here? To dedicate an entire episode to 2 characters who just end up fucking dying in a flashback. It serves no narrative purpose to the greater picture of the show, to the greater arc.
They were certainly doing something. Like, it was an experimental episode, which, you know, pretty early on in the show to experiment with the format. But and it was a wonderful self-contained story. I agree, but I felt that way more about the episode where Ellie had the flashbacks. That one felt like the superfluous one to me, because that character had been developed. I understand that they wanted to explore maybe a more personal aspect of her personality, but I just that episode felt like a waste of time to me.
Like that episode in the mall, I think that's a DLC in the game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Have you played the game?
Oh yeah, I'm actually in the middle of replaying it now. I'm replaying it for the first time. I've played it through beginning to end once, played the DLC once. Last of Us 2, played through all of that. I have very strong opinions on The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, I haven't played it, so I would rather we didn't talk about the second one, but I've played the first one.
Okay, first one, incredible self-contained story, right?
Yeah, I agree with you as well.
Second one.
First of all, I usually if I buy a console, it's usually an Xbox. So I played the first one like years after it came out. Like, I bought a PS3 secondhand just for the express purpose of playing The Last of Us. And I will probably do that with a PS4 at some point. I just haven't had that money lying around. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, is it only on PS4?
Yeah, I think PS4 is the minimum you can. I don't even have my PS3 anymore. I don't know what the fuck I did with that. I gave it away the first time I left Canada, I think. But yeah, I agree with you though that like there was something about the relationship between Joel and Ellie that felt like it developed much more naturally in the game. I thought they backloaded it with Joel finally loving her in the show. Do you know what I mean? It was like lukewarm. One episode where something traumatic happens, and then suddenly he's like, you know, like gung ho on unconditional love,
right?
And it's a wonderfully taught. Like I remember playing the first one with my girlfriend at the time, the first game, and she hated the ending, and I was like, "Fuck you! The ending is amazing." Like, and it's so established, and it's the natural conclusion of the way the game develops their relationship. And she was like so annoyed by it, and I was like, "Hell no! It's a fucking perfect ending." But I feel like if I had just seen the show, I would kind of feel the same way she did about the ending. I'd be like, "Huh, really?"
Yeah, I mean, there's, I don't know what you'd call it in storytelling. The Macbeth effect, the Walter White effect, where the good guy turns bad. Basically, the good guy does a bad thing at the end of the TV show.
Yeah.
Again, audience, you've had your spoiler warning. Get fucked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We really, I mean, we didn't know we were going to go this deep into it. I regret not flagging it like strongly at the start, but yeah, skip forward.
We agreed. We're riding by the seat of our pants in this episode, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Joel does a bad thing at the end. Like, you can't defend his actions in any way except for he's protecting Ellie's life. He's saving her life. Okay, yeah, that's a good thing. But sacrificing her life could possibly mean saving millions. upon millions of people.
Yeah.
And he straight up just murders a bunch of people in order to rescue her.
That's why I love the ending of the game. I thought it was brutal. Like it might, I remember how I
So
felt.
good.
I was like, oh no, oh God. And
It's an
sure,
impossible choice.
yeah. I mean, it shouldn't be, but the whole thing is it's Joel based on Joel's personal history is why he made that choice. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because when you think about it, it's like it's not just selfish because of all the people he could have saved and chooses not to. It's selfish because he's doing it so he doesn't have to feel bad again.
Right.
Really, it's more out of fear of his own feelings than love for Ellie. Even, do you
He
know what I
doesn't
mean?
want to lose Sarah again.
Exactly. Exactly. And that is tragic and such a strong, fucked up character, like writing choice I love it. I
Yeah.
really respect it in the game. It devastated me and I was angry at Joel and I was fucking happy with those writers.
But again, it's just to go back to the thing I said that started us all off. It's a prime example of how unconditional love can be an incredibly dangerous thing and not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, look what it did. It essentially doomed the world to the cordyceps apocalypse for fucking foreseeable future
I know.
again.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm gonna try and play the second one soon because I kind of want to play it before they do the second season. Even though I've heard they're gonna deviate in the second season, they're gonna change the story significantly.
it'd be interesting. I presume you don't know anything about the second game, no?
I know that there was a large section of the fan base that was not happy about the direction it went, and a lot of people I've heard say it shits on the story of the first one. I don't know how. Do you want to give your spoiler-free thoughts on that? Do you agree with that, or did you like it?
I'm perfectly happy to go spoiler free. So, Last of Us 2 is Marmite among the fan base. You either love it or you despise it.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, because I have seen its defenders as well.
I fucking loved it.
Good. Okay. Good.
I
trust your judgment and your
two.
taste.
With regard shitting all over the story of the first one, no. But I don't know how much of a natural progression from the story of the first one. Like, for example, the whole point of the first game is Ellie, she's immune to the cordyceps, right? That kind of doesn't get brought up at all.
Interesting.
In the second movie. It's just it is a progression of the storyline, but it's an unrelated storyline as well. No, actually, no, it is kind of not. Anyway, whatever. But what a lot of people who loved it will say online is that it's an incredibly morally deep movie. Like, it'll make you think and question
the second game.
The second game. It'll make you question what you believe in, what you believe to be right and what you believe to be wrong.
Yeah, which the first one did in a way as well, I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of. Joe is pretty categorically wrong, Joel, but you empathize with his situation. Anyway,
let me put it this way: Last of Us 2 is going to set up almost sock puppet style. It's going to give you two characters at the beginning and say, "Here's your good guy, here's your bad guy," and then by the time you watch the credits, you're going to be like, "Which was which? Who was the good guy? Who was the bad guy?" The game, here's my opinion: the game is not nearly as fucking deep as it wants you to believe. And I'll leave it there. Right?
Okay.
I still thought it was an incredible. It's experimental in its storytelling.
Okay.
Very experimental, and I think the experiment paid off. It was good.
Yeah, my friend who I watched The Last of Us with, we would go to one another's house every week. He is playing through the first one right now. He's got a PS4. I might pitch to him that we should buy the second one together, and we'll just play through that together, maybe, so that I can play it soon because I want to get on that ASAP. Okay, we've alienated people who haven't watched Last of Us enough. I'm going to pivot to a conversation topic that'll alienate more people. Did you watch the Oscars the other night?
No, I don't think I've watched an award show in my life.
Yeah, I don't usually watch the Oscars, and then a few years ago I decided to watch all the Best Picture nominations every year. These are the kinds of things you can do when you're a single guy who's not expecting a child. You know, I could have been there at the Oscars this year. I could have been at the Oscars this year. I'm telling you. Explain.
This is now, you can argue with me all you fucking want, but I'm sticking to my guns on this one. Paul Mescal
Big
he
chief.
got his fucking start advertising fucking sausages online, or on not online, on telly. I
Oh
got
my
my
God.
start selling cheese in a
You're
very
right.
similar manner.
You're
And
right.
yet
You were
he's off now, fucking red carpet Hollywood style, and I'm
going out
moving
with Phoebe
country to
Bridgers.
try and make enough money to feed a fucking third mouth here. Listen, I am very bitter and jealous of the fortunes of Paul Mescal,
Yeah, I like
because
him.
it could have been me.
For the week that's in it, Chat in the Gaeilge, the previously mentioned, I saw a video of him. I think it was TG Cahir caught him on some red carpet. It wasn't the Oscars because it was a few weeks ago. But
Right.
TG Cahir caught him on a red carpet and they asked him questions in Irish, and he stumbled his way through. I would assess his level of Irish to be the exact same as mine, which really endeared me to him because he's like he even said Drastamere Bunskull Long Gaeilge. I went to an Irish primary school, which I did as well. We had the way he talked, the words he got stuck on, and everything. I was like, this man has the exact same level of, and for some reason, that more than anything else endeared me to him.
Man, speaking of the Irish language, I only found out recently who is possibly the most famous individual to be fluent in Irish and have Irish as their first language.
Go
Blew
on.
my mind. Michael Fassbender.
That was his first language?
Yeah, he was born, raised, and educated in Kerry.
Wow. And he speaks German as well.
Yeah, because he's half German. His
Yeah.
dad's German, I believe.
But wait, he was raised in a Gaeltacht.
I believe so.
Michael Fassbender and I have the same birthday. Funny enough, so do me, Michael Fassbender, and Pedro Pascal, star of The Last of Us.
No way!
Look at that for serendipity.
2nd of April, nice.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now. Just over.
Just yesterday, I watched an episode of House that was guest starring Meatloaf in it, who I have the same birthday as.
Yeah, there you go. May he rest in peace. Hold on, wait. So I'm on his Wikipedia here. So he was raised in Killarney. It doesn't say anything about him speaking Irish as his first language on Wikipedia, but
well, Killarney is Kerry. I wouldn't know about it being a Gaeltacht region now because Killarney is probably the most visited town in Kerry by tourists, outside of Dingle, maybe.
Yeah.
Or Tralee.
Tis a tourist trap. It doesn't say anything on Wikipedia, but that doesn't mean it's not true. Wow. So the Fass speaks Irish. Fair play to him.
He was in the news recently because he's mad into the Formula One now. Michael Fassbender. He's mad into Formula One. And he was caught, I don't know, on camera, on microphone or whatever, but he was approached by Eddie Jordan. Eddie Jordan's an Irishman, but he's part of the whole Formula One world. I think he's an analyst now. I think he used to be like a team manager or something. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know Formula One at all. But he's a bigwig in the Formula One world. And he knows Michael Fassbender well, because Fassbender loves the old boom, boom, beep, beeps, right? But came up to him, and apparently they know each other over the years, and they talk to each other Oscuelga, mad as you like. And I think it was broadcast. And some bigwig in BBC went apeshit at Eddie Jordan over this.
Because the Irish language is on the BBC.
The way Eddie Jordan tells the story, he said something like, how dare you speak Irish on the Queen's BBC? Like, we are the BBC, or the King's BBC now, I guess. But yeah, just going absolutely mental over speaking Irish on it.
Why is that a point of offense? Is it because of the Ra?
I'd say it's a sensitivity thing. Like, yeah,
that's a very narrow-minded view of what the Irish language represents.
Incredibly,
but I mean, the BBC are they're being harshly judged in the court of public opinion right now as well. Have you heard about all this crack with Gary Lineker?
Oh, they fucked up big time with Gary.
Yeah. What a G.
Holy shit!
I don't know if we need to get into this. We can if you want. I just don't think I have any hot takes on it other than I'm fully on Gary Lineker's side here.
This is all the world of football, and I am not part of that world at all. I don't have my finger in any pies to do with football. I know nothing.
Just really quick for any of the listeners who aren't aware, Gary Lineker criticized a new Tory government policy on refugees, and he tweeted and said that it was that they used language that was not dissimilar to 1930s Germany. Very strong statement, very correct statement, I would say, based on 100%. My own political beliefs and what I've read about this fucking Tory policy. And he he famous. Gary Lineker used to be a footballer, famous now for hosting Match of the Day, which is like the BBC's flagship football highlights TV show. It's been going for decades, like it's since the 50s or 60s, I think. Yeah, everyone knows the theme song, right? But Gary Lineker, represents the BBC. He's supposed to be quote unquote politically neutral, and he has always been quite political, actually. And you see this double standard with certain things that he's tweeted about, where the BBC don't seem to give a shite. For example, human rights abuses in Qatar during that World Cup. So they're very selective. Anyway, he got in again, quote unquote, hot water with the BBC, and basically there was a Mexican standoff where Lineker came out, where the BBC ended up apologizing to him.
No. You're giving the broad strokes of the war here. What were the individual battles? Basically, Lineker got a telling off. And to the best of my knowledge, he just said, "Oh, okay, cool. I'm not hosting anymore.
Yeah,
go fuck yourself."
He took a week off. I think he's agreed to come back now. But this past Saturday, the fucking Match of the Day had no hosts.
But a whole ton of other presenters decided, not doing
there was
shit.
A massive solidarity movement.
Solidarity.
It was fantastic. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, if everyone wants to start showing solidarity over, the opinions of a straight white man in a position like that, I mean, like, there are better battles we can throw our weight behind in fairness. But Lineker was right in what he was saying. Like, that fucking policy, unbelievable,
it's barbaric, and the whole Rishi Sunak with his PM's podium. Did you see that? The no more boats on it.
No,
he had there was a podium set up for. I wish I had more context for this now. PM's questions takes place in Parliament, right? So I don't think it was that. It looked like a press conference. It might have been the one where they're announcing this policy, and there was a podium set up that Rishi Sunak was going to talk into the microphone on, and across it was a sticker that said "No more boats."
Oh,
and everyone was like, "This is like a sketch comedy set." Like, this is
fucking SNL.
Yeah, I feel like I don't, like I said, I don't have a hot take on this, and I don't want. I feel like we're bumping up against when we're talking about current events. I'm always very conscious of, like, unless I actually have an interesting take on it, I don't really want to, because we're not a news show.
No, we're not. I'm just a fucking armchair expert sitting back here who knows nothing about anything. I'm happy to be educated on anything and everything I have said so far this evening.
I'm not saying that I don't have opinion on these things. I'm just saying I would only talk about it if I had what I saw as a unique opinion. If I had a sort of polemic, or like to dish out. But yeah, I did the Oscars. Did you see any of the movies nominated this year?
What were some of the movies nominated? Because again, didn't watch the Oscars.
I can read. Okay, I can read you the Best Picture nominations in reverse order of how much I liked them, because I watched them all. Right. There's 10 of them, and I'm gonna force you and all our listeners to listen to my top 10 Best Picture nominations 2023. At number 10, Avatar: The Way of Water.
Haven't seen it. No interest in seeing it.
Yeah, it was.
I saw the first one. I know what I'm getting into. No, I'm good.
It was. The story was just ridiculously fucking generic, and like, obviously a pretty movie. I am a fan of James Cameron as a person and as a director. It just didn't work for me. 5 out of 10. At number 9, Elvis.
Oh, also didn't see that. I don't think I've seen any of these movies, to be honest.
Very standard Baz Luhrmann fare. It looked like it was edited by ADD, if you don't mind me saying.
It's Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking like Moulin Rouge Baz Luhrmann.
I think he definitely directed like the Great Gatsby, that adaptation and everything.
Great Gatsby, Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, that's the one. He's a very flashy. He's got his own style that doesn't really do it for me. I thought that
Moulin Rouge. Fuck.
I don't know. I'm looking it up now. He did. Hold on. He did do Moulin Rouge, yeah. Moulin Rouge, Australia, The Great Gatsby, Elvis. Oh, he did the Get Down? Interesting.
The fuck is the Get Down?
It was like a Netflix show about like breakdancing, I think. It got cancelled after a season. I did not realize that he created this.
He fell on hard times that week.
Do you know what? It wasn't about breakdancing. It was about the rise of hip hop. My apologies. But apparently,
I was going to say the rise of Hitler. I was going to say those were two very different topics.
The goose step is probably in. It's funny in the middle of that Venn diagram.
So anyway, he did Elvis. You say standard Baz Luhrmann fare. I sort of know what I'm getting into. I haven't even seen it yet.
Standard biopic fare as well, I would say. I had heard, I went in like with reasonably high expectations because everyone's like, oh, it's not just your regular biopic. Guess what? It's just your regular biopic. I don't understand why we're still releasing them after Walk Hard got made. But Austin Butler, who played Elvis, was transcendent. He was amazing.
Who?
Austin Butler is his name. He's an up and coming young lad. Have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino movie?
Yeah.
He played the dude, the one of the fucking Manson kids and that, the fellow with the long hair.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. So he's a really good actor.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
All right, number 8.
Yeah.
The Fabelmans.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's a Spielberg joint. It's like his most autobiographical movie. It's about a kid who wants to make movies, discovers how to make movies, and then his parents get divorced. And apparently Spielberg was really affected by that. It's his
own autobiography movie, essentially.
Pretty much. It is. I'm not even going to say for 2 acts. I'm going to say for 3/4 of the movie, because even the first part of the last act was kind of shitty, I thought. It's a terrible movie, in my opinion. And then I feel like Spielberg realized that. And then he was like, let's just fuck around for the rest of this. And the last half hour of the movie is super weird and really enjoyable. But most of it is shite.
Okay.
And there's an incredible cameo in the last scene. But overall, I would say not worth watching. At number 7, Top Gun Maverick.
Meant to be very good. Again, as I said, I don't think I've seen any of these movies. It's not been a year for movies with me, but
yeah, well, you're expecting a child. Top Gun, the original, I think, is a terrible movie. I don't get the nostalgia at all. I don't have any particular love for the 80s as a vibe. This movie was a lot of fun. Like,
there are a lot of 80s movies that I fucking love. The original Top Gun, I agree with you. I don't think it's a very good movie, but I do find it very enjoyable.
I didn't even enjoy it. You see, I remember watching it and being baffled. I was like, this is
I was so shocked at the sheer level of homoeroticism in that movie.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
It continues somewhat into the sequel. The sequels, it's good fun though. It's Tom Cruise is interesting in it because he's like, I think I'm lifting this from another review I saw by a man named Demi Adejuyigbe. So this isn't my take, but he's got this like knowing smile on his face the whole movie that he just and the way Demi phrased it was he's an 80s action star who knows he's an 80s action star, and that's a perfect way to put it. Like Tom Cruise is just having the crack in this movie. And I actually went to see it in the cinema, and there's a little pre-roll of Tom Cruise talking to the camera, and he's like, hey guys, thanks for coming to see this movie. It was made to be seen on a big screen, so we appreciate it. And that I was in then, you know what I mean? That really endeared me to it. 7 out of 10. Enjoyable movie. And number 6.
Okay, curious.
Yeah, I'm quite a soft rater, to be fair. I did a podcast about Lost, for example.
True.
Number 6, Women Talking.
I don't know. I've definitely not heard of this one.
Yeah. It's what it says in the tin. It's Women Talking. It's about a Mennonite community where the women experience a series of sexual assaults in the night where they're drugged and sexually assaulted. Really serious subject matter, but quite like it's not gratuitous. It doesn't really show any brutal scenes, and it's mostly about the women deciding whether they want to leave the colony or not. It's called Women Talking. Like I said, very much what it says in the tin. It's got a sort of play-like feel to it. I went to see it with my ma when she came to visit, and she really liked it as well. Oh. And it's just about the women deciding whether they should leave the colony or not. And I really enjoyed it. I went in with quite low expectations, actually, because I kind of thought it was going to be preachy. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed it. Really good movie.
Out of 10?
I would give that one a higher 7 than Top Gun. Do you know what? I'd give it an 8.
Oh, lovely. The coveted 8. Go on. Mm-hmm. What's your number 5 now?
Number 5, All Quiet on the Western Front.
Oh, interesting.
German war movie, a remake, I believe, because I think they had one in the 60s as well, and originally based on a novel.
Sounds familiar. Really,
it's 8 out of 10 as well. Like, you know what to expect with a war movie, but there was some gorgeous cinematography, and it was some scenes were just brutal. Like, it's an anti-war movie.
I am a sucker for a good war movie.
I like a war movie as well. I don't think there's anything incredibly new or unique about this one. But remember, did you watch 1917 that came out a few years ago?
I did, yeah.
That was a hell of a war movie, and that was different. Like
Yeah.
there's a couple of very harrowing scenes in All Quiet, and it was really really good. But yeah, it's number 5 on my list.
Hold on, actually, 1917. My brain immediately tells me you have seen this movie, but I'm trying to remember which one it is. Is that like the one that's filmed as if it's a
All in
oneer?
one take. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. I mean, there's a couple of obvious. I mean, you watch enough movies, you know where the cut's going to be, right? But
yeah, and it's edited to look like that. Obviously, they didn't do it all in one take either. But
just for my own curiosity, it only has to be a one-word answer if you want, so we can get back to the top 10 list. Favorite war movie, if you have one. Gun to your head, no pun intended.
Full Metal Jacket is great. That's my dad's favorite movie of all time, and I'm hard pressed to think of a better one. I'm gonna say Full Metal Jacket. Yourself?
I'm a basic bitch. Saving Private Ryan.
It's a good one.
I mean,
Spielberg again. He knows how to make a movie.
That like the fucking storming of the beach. Oh, it doesn't get better than that on screen.
I enjoy it. I never get bored of it either. I love watching that opening scene every time. It's incredible.
Okay, cool. What's next on this top 10?
Number 4. If there's going to be a movie on this list, you've seen. Actually, there's going to be 2, but I think this will be one of them. And it won Best Picture. It's my number 4. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Have you seen this movie?
I have seen this one.
Yeah.
Listen, I saw Michelle Yeoh is in a multiverse movie, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I gotta see this.
What you think?
That for what it's about, that movie is way better than it had any right to be.
It's a great movie. I think I have a number 4 on there, and so I obviously don't agree that it was the best picture, but it's a really, really fun movie, and it's like very creative. I think it's kind of a Marvel movie for people who don't like Marvel movies, which is why I don't think it's like,
okay,
because I'm not a huge Marvel fan or anything. Nothing against them. They're just not really my kind of movies.
There's something about that movie. Oh, what's the other woman that's in it?
She actually won Best Supporting Actress as well, which she shouldn't have. You're talking about why am I blanking on her fucking name? Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis is phenomenal.
She's amazing. Although I don't think she deserved that award, but she is really really good in it. It's a transformative like performance by her.
My big takeaway opinion on that movie is that it is a chaotic movie.
Mm-hmm.
It is so chaotic. You cannot see where it's going from one scene to the next. And yet they're still able to make every beat, every twist and turn of the story logical and understandable and just easy enough to follow for the general audience. And that's a skill.
Absolutely.
To still make it seem like a whole whirlwind of a movie, and they're still able to pull you along just enough that you can follow it.
It's a great screenplay. Funny enough, I didn't cry the first time I watched it, but I cried the second time. Don't know what that's about.
You cried?
Yeah, there's a very emotional end to it.
Ooh, I cry at fucking everything. I don't think I cried at this movie.
Great movie. Number 3, Triangle of Sadness.
The fuck?
What? This is by director Ruben Östlund, I think is the name. He's a Swedish lad. It's a wild fucking movie. I've heard a lot of people criticize this, and I can't say I disagree with the criticism because it's probably overly long, and it's a satire on sort of rich people that's very, blatant. It's not a very subtle movie, but right. I thought it made some wild choices, and it was really, really funny. It's told in 3 acts, and it kind of peaks in the second act. That's the problem with it, I think. And then the last act is pretty crazy, but I would recommend it though. I really enjoyed it. It's funny. It got a very visceral reaction out of me, and the second act sort of there's like crescendos in this really funny vomiting scene. and it's incredible.
Okay then.
Yeah. Number 2 for me is the movie Tar.
Oh, this movie.
Yeah. Cate Blanchett.
Yeah, Cate Blanchett. I knew there was someone I knew in it. I haven't seen it, obviously.
It's an incredible movie. Cate Blanchett plays a conductor. It's just about, it's a very of our time movie, and I think it'll be looked back on years from now. Like
It's a Me Too movement movie.
I think that is oversimplifying it, but it is sort of a movie that addresses cancel culture. Yeah, I think if you were to say it's a movie about cancel culture, you'd be wrong, but it does address it and deal with it.
But doesn't make it the whole thing.
No, it doesn't. No. Very interesting movie though. Cate Blanchett, I thought should have won Best Actress. Michelle Yeoh got it, which she was also fantastic as well. But I thought Cate Blanchett's performance was transcendent in it. Like she's incredible. Number one, and if this will be the other movie I think you'd have seen, it's only the fucking Banshees of Inisherin.
Would you believe I haven't seen it?
Have you not? Ah, man, no. It is a masterpiece. So Martin McDonagh, Brendan Gleeson, and Colin Farrell previously collaborated on the movie In Bruges, which is my favorite movie of all time. So I was creaming myself when I heard this was coming out, and it's incredible. It's a fantastic movie.
I didn't like In Bruges. Well, it's not that I didn't like it. I felt like this movie is for an audience who is not me.
Yeah, and I felt the opposite.
I don't know what about. I didn't get it.
Yeah, In Bruges ticks all my boxes. I feel like it's illustrative of the type of movie I do like. In Bruges, like kind of that post Tarantino, like criminals who, talk like we do, and it's Irish, and it's a tragedy and a comedy. It's right up my alley.
Yeah.
I understand why people don't like it. I don't
a less slick Guy Ritchie movie, essentially, is what I always thought of In Bruges.
I don't know. Guy Ritchie got his formula got tired pretty quickly. He had about 2 good movies, and then I think In Bruges does a lot more interesting things. I think Guy Ritchie is more style than substance, and his style is good, but I think In Bruges has substance as well. It's a deep movie.
Listen, I'm a simple man. I see a Guy Ritchie movie, I watch it. I love them. Just
Lock, Stock, and Snatch are amazing movies.
Oh, without a doubt.
There's 2 best.
I tell you what, I'm a big fan of, and his style applied to it just worked perfectly. The Sherlock Holmes movies.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen the Guy Ritchie. He did 2 of them, right? With RDJ.
Oh man, you haven't seen them?
No, never got to it.
Love it, absolutely. No.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for Sherlock Holmes. Love the books, love the TV shows made about him, although I've got some real strong opinions about the Benedict Cumberbatch one, but that's a different episode for another time because we're running out of time on this one.
We're wrapping up soon, yeah.
Yeah, but the Robert Downey Jr. movies, directed by Guy Ritchie, man, incredible. So good. Second one is a little bit bloviated, but the first one is definitely really good. It's tight.
Yeah.
Good storytelling.
All right, I want to give you some homework, and I understand if you don't get it done because you're expecting a child and you're moving country. But I think it's on Disney Plus. We can bleep that if you want.
Don't have to bleep
it. Give a watch to Banshees of Inisherin. I'd love to talk about it on one of these at some point.
I don't have Disney Plus, but I do have Streamio, which is like
there you go.
Streamio's fucking amazing, man.
Well, we won't bleep that.
No, 100%. Power to the people.
Thank you for indulging me on reading out my Best Picture noms.
Oh choices. Man, if we could turn this into a movie podcast, preach. That's what I want. I love movies. So
yeah, I would love to do that as well.
Anytime we get onto the topic of movies, we're going to be very happy people.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe we can do that. Maybe we can decide on a movie to discuss each episode or something. Anyway, see if you can watch Banshees at some point, and if you can, we'll talk about it next time. And hey, listeners. You check it out as well so that we don't spoil it like we did The Last of Us.
Oh yeah, I couldn't give a bollocks. The Last of Us is the biggest thing on TV right now. If you're not watching it, it's your own bloody fault having it spoiled.
Yeah,
okay,
get with the times. I do have one more thing I wanted to talk about. I made a very short list of things I wanted to talk about today, and it was Oscars, Paddy's Day, and then this last thing. I maybe could have done more research for this topic, but I thought I'd just get your take on it.
Well, I didn't do any fucking research. You have a list. I didn't even know we were recording today. So come on.
Let me ask you about this. Right, this is going to be controversial, perhaps.
Ooh.
What do you think about this? And by the way, I'm also very aware that nobody talks about this anymore. This is a very 2015 question. But I watched an episode of something the other day where it referred to it. What do you think about this phenomenon of manspreading? Are you familiar with this?
This is what you wasted your last fucking question on.
I know. Here. Let me give you my feelings about it. Right? But I understand that it's like men sitting in chairs and obnoxiously spreading their legs. Right? I understand why you would be unhappy about that if like someone was like pushing you over in your chair or something like that. But like, ladies, I'm here to tell you right now. Sometimes you need to fucking air the lads out of it. Like I'm defending manspreading here. I don't think you should be obnoxious about it. Again, I told you this is something that people don't even really talk about anymore. But like, I don't know. I would hate to think that I was just sitting in a way that I need to for my junk to be comfortable, and for someone to look at me and go, "Oh, look at this prick manspreading." Like,
okay.
Am I being overly sensitive? Like, do people not actually care if you're doing it within reason?
Hang on. To even bring up the question in the first place means that I'm fully aware with what manspreading is.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about manspreading that people have a problem with?
I'm not really sure. That's the thing. I think it might like
two things.
Oh, you're okay. That was rhetorical. Sorry.
No, it actually wasn't rhetorical. But my theory is that there's two things. I can only think of two possible ways someone can be pissed off by the act of manspreading. Mm-hmm. One, you're sitting next to someone who's doing it, and their leg is pushing yours, and we're assuming this is in the case of like a public setting, a park bench.
Yeah, I always think of Subway or something. Yeah.
Right. Okay. New York subway, despite the fact we don't have one here in Ireland, like at all.
Oh, yeah. We got one in Toronto. So.
Oh, do you?
Mm-hmm. It's very, very small, but
well for you. Notions. But yeah, I always imagine this in a public setting. If a stranger is sitting next to you and they start spreading their legs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure. I'm annoyed at this person, rightfully so. I would
never do that. It's rude.
Filled with a righteous fire. Now, let me give you a situation, right? Someone is manspreading on their own, and there's no one sitting next to them.
Mm.
And somebody comes to sit next to them because the seat's available.
Yeah.
And now they're being manspreaded into.
Yeah.
Who's at fault?
The man, of course.
Manspreader was already doing it. He was there first, doing his thing, airing the legs out.
But it's the same thing as someone sitting on the subway with their bag in the seat next to them. And then it fills up and nobody gets, do you know what I mean? Okay, so maybe I'm just misinterpreting the issue. I thought it was like, here's what I thought people were complaining about. It's like a man's opening his legs and he's sort of forcing you to look at his crotch or something. And I'm like, well, no, maybe I just misinterpreted that. Like, I completely agree with your assessment. I wouldn't be happy and I would never do those things either. But like, I'm just saying, we can't just sit there with our legs together.
Despite what I tell a lot of people, I do not have a monstrously huge, snaky horsecock bulging out of the, up against my inner thigh that I'm going to force people to look at if I'm spreading my legs. No. If I'm wearing trousers and I spread my legs while I'm seated, I'm like a Ken doll down there. I'm not forcing anybody to look at anything. Mm-hmm. Someone else is doing it in a public setting. I don't care. It's kind of like, oh, they're not wearing a jacket. They're forcing me to look at their clothed chest. Like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Maybe this will waste of time to talk about this because maybe I just misinterpreted the issue with it. But
that's the most random topic you've saved to bring up at the end of a podcast.
It's because it was referred to in something that I was watching the other day, and I was just like, what's the issue there?
I thought you were going to ask about mansplaining. Now that's a hot button topic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We all know that mansplaining is wrong and should be avoided.
Yeah. Thanks for explaining that to me, Dave. Anyway,
it's a social bit that I like to do when someone mentions mansplaining. I'll turn to the nearest woman and go, "That's when a man explains something to a woman." Usually gets a chuckle.
That is almost the exact same as the one that I use. Condescending. Condescending means to talk down to people. It's the same joke, essentially.
Yeah, it's a good one, though.
Beautiful joke. Simple, elegant. Mwah.
All right, well, I feel like this went well today. Should we wrap?
Let's do it. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Do you feel like we covered everything? You got everything off your chest?
Nah, man. You know me. I could sit here and talk to you for fucking hours. I did it as a hobby for a season and a half of Lost, so I could go longer than this. But no, I would very much like to leave it there. A nice tight episode. Once we edit out certain bits from it, I feel like that's actually going to be like an hour and a half, maybe, possibly.
Yeah, I think there was a large portion in the middle where we had a chat with your missus that's definitely going to be cut, and I feel like that took 20 minutes. So I think this could actually like end up at less than an hour.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't mind. I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind that. Yeah, I wouldn't mind at under an hour.
I'm sure the listeners will be happy too. Speaking of which, should we should still make appeals for people to write into us and stuff, right? Like because we're eventually going to run out of things to talk about, I'm sure.
No,
No,
no, I don't think so.
Well, if there's anything you want to ask us or you want us to discuss,
If anybody wants to ask us any deep questions, although all of the podcasts are doing the same shit now, they're reading out answers to questions on Reddit. Have you seen this?
No.
Absolutely disgusting. Like there was a question on Reddit once upon a time, which was, what are some creative nicknames your colleagues have gotten? And all of the podcasts are literally doing the same bit. One person will read out the answers to this, and the other person just reacts and laughs.
Oh, come on now. That's not content.
And that's the podcast. If I want that, if I wanted that content, I'd go to Reddit, right?
Having said that, just to close us out, reddit.com/askreddit.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Our CDN was unable to reach our servers. Reddit's down. It wasn't meant to be.
You know what? Sorry, I should have mentioned that. Reddit's been down since before we started recording.
Really? Is it? I don't really go on Reddit all that much anymore. Is this a big news story?
No, it's just down. No healthy back ends. Reddit 503 error is what I'm getting on my phone. So,
wow, look at that. I was going to try and shoehorn an Ask Reddit question in there, and fate itself stood in the way. Probably for the best.
All right, out, Dave. Have you ever met anyone in your life with a particularly entertaining nickname? I feel like you and the Tullamore boys will have somebody.
I could tell you one that we both know.
Go on.
Do you remember? I won't say his full name out of respect for his privacy. But there was we had a group of friends in college. One of our roommates, his group of friends, used to hang out in our apartment a lot. And they used to call everyone Dog. Like they would call me Dave Dog, and they would call
I know who you're talking about.
They would call you Ado Dog. And one of these fellows, his last name was Crowley. And and he was like the butt of all the jokes, to put it mildly. He was the one they bullied, right? Like every group of lads has one. The fella that he just bullied.
Yeah.
And one day someone called him Crowl Dog. And one of the other lads, I rejected that. One of the other lads, he protested. He said, nah. Crowley's not cool enough to be called Crowl Dog. We should call him like Crowl Pig or something.
Crowl Pig.
And me and you, to this, like, I don't think they kept that nickname up, but me and you found this so funny that we just started calling him Crowl Pig.
And over the years, my brain changed that story. I thought it had something to do with Spider Pig, because the Simpsons movie had just come out at that stage, and Spider Pig was the meme of the internet. But no, it was just he's not cool enough to be Crowl Dog.
Crowl Dog. He's Crowl Pig. There's another time where we were going out on a session and we were having prees at our gaff, and they everyone had left their jacket somewhere, and they took Crowl Pig's jacket and they ran it under the tap in the sink.
Oh my god!
And then they put it in the freezer.
The cruelty.
And as we were leaving, they're like, Crowdy, get your jacket, it's freezing. And my mate Gary was like from home, was visiting us at that time. He never went to college with us, but he was visiting, and he still brings that story up to this day.
Oh my god, that was genuinely one of the funniest things.
Shout out to Crowl Pig.
Man, like that's abuse. Like that's cruel.
100%. 100%. But it's that very Irish brand of like taking the
Yeah.
piss.
I mean, it's harmless at the end of the day. It like as long as
he
everyone's
probably
on the same page. Oh, he's probably losing sleep about it every night to this day.
Yeah.
Like, why did they hate me?
Any good nicknames before we wrap it up?
The only one I can think of was not a guy I worked with, but when I was in school, in secondary school, you know the way there's every school has them, right? In every year. The gang of
Mhm.
football lads, the GA
Oh,
lads,
yeah.
right? Every
Yeah,
school
yeah.
has them in every year, right?
The jocks, the Irish equivalent of jocks.
Yeah, jocks. You know, usually a fucking American term. GA lads is what I
Yeah,
say.
lads.
But they all had nicknames. They all had nicknames to which I had no idea what the origins of them were. Right?
I'm gonna take a stab here. Was one of them, at least one of them, called Spud?
No, to the
No.
best of
Okay,
my
I was gonna
knowledge.
say. I was gonna say every
I think
year.
Spud was like a generic nickname that was given to
Yeah,
several people.
like every class in Ireland, like every year of secondary school, there'll be a Spud in each year.
I remember two of them that had nicknames, right? One of them I don't know the origin of. Not sure I want to know. His name is Teabag, right? One of them was called Teabag. I do not want to know why. But the other one was called Elmo. And I thought, Elmo was so funny. Man, you could sit here and guess for the next year and you won't guess why he was called Elmo.
Do you know?
I do. He had really bad acne on his back. And the outbreaks formed a shape that resembled Elmo from Sesame Street.
I thought it was just because his back was so red.
Nope.
That's why but it actually looked like Elmo.
No, in the shape of like Elmo's head and everything. No, it was just Elmo from Sesame Street, so he got called Elmo.
Kids can be so cruel, and we're glad they are.
Thankfully, I never got any nicknames. Going through school, people tried to give me nicknames. None of them stuck.
Yeah, I had one fella who a couple of years above me. I don't even remember his name, but when I was in first year, he used to call me Smiley. I think because I would walk around smiling, and it didn't stick, thankfully. But yeah, I don't know. It was weird.
Okay, fair enough. Smiley. I mean, why not? There's worse names out there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's
Right.
it for this week.
Yeah,
or this month, or whenever we're doing it next.
Yeah, we'll see again. I don't know if we'll have any sort of regular release, but we'll aim for one a month. And we'll aim for the soonest Wednesday after we can. We're recording this on a Tuesday, so check your bingo cards for when Ado asked you to guess which day it was earlier. I don't think we'll have it out tomorrow. Probably tomorrow week. And we'll chat to you next week.
We're under no time pressure, so yeah. Thanks for indulging us in this little experiment, listeners. It's been lovely.
It has,
and we'll see you when we see you.
Is there something they need to remember?
Not that I know. Why? Do you know something I don't, Dave?
Well, you haven't really lost anything.
No, because we've been found. It's the name of this new leg of the podcast. Dave, come on, keep up. You haven't lost anything until you've lost. That's what you want me to say, isn't it? You want me to finish that?
Go on. We gotta stay true to our roots in some ways. Do the sign off. Do the tag.
All right, let's do the sign off. And remember, you haven't lost anything until you've lost the plot. Thank you very much.
This is the Lost Plot Hour, brought to you by Monster Energy.
We're not actually paid by Monster Energy. Monster, please pay us.
Yeah.
Raid Shadow Legends. All right, fuck it. Let's just end it there.
I think that went well.
Lost the Plot is produced by Dave and I. Artwork by Jimmy Purcell of BeanBetterComic.com. Music by Noel Brennan of No Exit. Check out No Exit wherever you stream your music. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at LostThePlotLads or email us at losttheplotlads@gmail.com.